Welcome back to Old School Sports and our Out of the Park Baseball 26 series Rescue the Rockies. And the 2037 playoffs get underway today. Hopefully, we will be able to crown a champion here in the fictional baseball world in 2037, the same day that either the Los Angeles Dodgers or the Toronto Blue Jays are going to win the 2025 World Series in real life. We have potential with our Rockies and the Chicago White Sox both having the number one seeds in their respective leagues for a fifth consecutive World Series between the Rockies and the White Sox, which is pretty ridiculous to think about sitting here in 2025. The Cubs and the A's have the other first-round byes, so your wild card matchups in the American League will be the Royals against the Astros, the Orioles and the Yankees facing off in a AL East clash, the Milwaukee Brewers against the Miami Marlins, and the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Mets facing off in the final wild card series in the National League. And as we get ready to begin our divisional series, which will be against the Miami Marlins, big news, as expected, is that Kevin Roberts Jr., who missed the last 2+ weeks of the regular season, is back and healthy. So he will be our cleanup hitter and hopefully play a very important role in our lineup. Starting catcher Mike Girard, number 2 starter Noah Schultz missed the entire season and effectively the entire season. Still a chance that the young pitcher Jeff Colson, who missed the last month or so of the season with a strained shoulder, will be back in time to at least be considered for a National League Championship Series roster if we are fortunate enough to make it that far. Taking a look at the whole playoff tree, the Royals took out the Astros in 3 games. The Orioles swept the Yankees. The Marlins swept the Brewers. And the Dodgers took out the Mets in 3 games. So a pretty rough wild card round for the teams from New York. And on paper, our expectation is that the series against the Marlins should be relatively easy, but that's typically when these things go awry. 108-54, we had the best record in baseball. We're 21 games better than the Marlins this year. Took 5 out of 6 games against them. And for the first time in this playthrough, the best offense in the National League, while also having the best pitching staff in the National League. As I said, everything's lining up well for us, which makes me think maybe this is the year that we ultimately are going to get picked off early. The Marlins still a pretty solid team, 4th in the league in runs scored and 5th in the league in runs against, so still a high-quality squad that did win 87 games. On the mound for the Marlins, the 26-year-old right-hander Jaden Gavelek, 6'6" righty out of West Virginia, 11-6 this year with a 3.79 earned run average. He's been a pretty good, solid pitcher for the Marlins for several years now. Doesn't have the most impressive stuff in the world, but he keeps the ball down, keeps the ball in the park, and has pretty good control and good stamina. He was named an All-Star last year for the first time in his career. With the time off that we have, no doubt who would be starting for us, our ace Leo Martinez, 3-time defending Cy Young Award winner for the National League. Had by his measures an off year, 12-4 record with a 3.17 ERA. Still led the league in WHIP and walks per 9 innings, however. So it should be a good matchup today with a couple of good right-handed pitchers right in the prime of their careers as we try to get the series off to a good start over the Miami Marlins. And a 7-0 victory, so Martinez outpitched Gavelek. J.D. Lee, the catcher who we picked up when it became clear that Girard was not going to be available for this season, hit a home run after a big regular season. We scored 4 in the bottom of the third, RBI doubles from Castro, and then an RBI single from Stone, Castillo, and Miller off of Gavlik. Added additional runs in the 4th, 5th, and 7th innings on our way to an easy 7-0 win. Only allowed 4 hits to the Marlins. Martinez was fantastic. 3 hits, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts over 7 1/3. The young lefty David Guadron pitched the final inning in 2/3, striking out 3. A couple of hits from Lee and Stone, as well as Castillo. Good to see Roberts with a hit and 2 runs scored in his first game in about a month at this point. So hopefully not too much rust there with our key player. Reliever Taj Bradley injured while pitching for Miami. Gavlik, tough outing, 7 hits and a walk over 3 2/3. 5 runs allowed, although only 2 of them were earned. That one error they had on shortstop ONG was a very big one, unfortunately, for the Marlins. And we'll get ready now for game number 2 on the mound for the Marlins. Really good-looking 25-year-old Pablo Garcia. Brilliant stuff. An outstanding fastball to go with a great changeup and an excellent slider. Good movement on his pitchers and solid control. Must have had some injury issues this year. He is fragile physically. Pitched only 14 games between AAA and the majors, but 5-2 with a 2.48 ERA and over 11 strikeouts per 9 innings when he was in the majors. Good stamina, outstanding at holding on runners. Fly ball pitcher. Maybe that will work against him here in this game in Coors. On the mound for us, the lefty Bob Russell had to take over as our number 2 starter this year when we did lose Noah Schultz. Very good pitcher with ground ball tendencies. Stuff is only average. His splitter is a premier pitch. Other than that, nothing really special in his repertoire. Good at keeping the ball down and in the park, and he has pinpoint control. Led the National League with 16 wins this year, a 16-10 record, 3.63 ERA, whip just over 1, and he put up a 4.4 WAR for us. So was a very important addition this past offseason, made even more important by the loss of Schultz. We'll see if we can take a 2-0 lead to South Florida. And we do get a 6-1 win. So Russell with the W, Garcia with the loss. Another home run for Lee. Also got a homer from the center fielder, Anthony Pack Jr. Taking a look at the box score, another 4-run inning relatively early in the game. Bottom of the third this time. RBI single from Castro, and then a 3-run home run from Lee, who is making a very strong case to be the MVP of this series. That was his lone hit of the day. Only 8 hits for us today, but we held the Marlins to just 3. Russell, 5 1/3 innings, allowed 2 hits while walking 3 and struck out 9. Kawakami, Gibson, and Hannon combined for 3 2/3 innings, allowing the lone run. Kawakami looks like that was an unearned run error on the infielder Johnny Castillo. But we will be heading to Miami, up 2-0. Hopefully put ourselves in a position to clinch this series relatively early and get a little bit of rest before a potential National League Championship Series. And as we get ready for game number 3, interestingly, the only series that isn't 2-0 features the Chicago White Sox with the second best record in baseball, the only other 100-win team in baseball this year. They're tied 1-1 with the Royals. The A's are up 2-0 on the Orioles, and the Cubs are up 2-0 on the Dodgers. So we, like the Cubs, are going to be going for a sweep today. We will have Aaron Bell on the mound. 27-year-old was 12-2 this year with a 3.88 ERA, 3.4 WAR. Did have that low adaptability, wasn't necessarily as effective his first year in Colorado as we might have hoped, but certainly seemed to take a step forward this year in terms of his performance. Not a superstar by any means, but a good, solid right-handed starter for us. And he'll be going up against the 29-year-old righty David Pacheco for the Marlins, another good solid starter, 10-5 this year with a 2.81 ERA and a 4.6 WAR. Strong ground ball tendencies, throws in the triple digits from time to time. So another really good pitching matchup here. We've been fortunate to have won the first two of these matchups on the mound that looked very good on paper, although, as we've talked about, we actually won both games relatively easily. We'll see if we can get the same result today. Not to be the case, though, a 5-4 loss, and we will be heading to a game number 4 tomorrow in Miami. Pacheco with the win, Bell with the loss, Ross with the save for the Marlins. Couple of home runs from the Marlins, Jose Villarreal and Johnny Cone. We got a couple of dingers as well. Trent Kaysen, last year's World Series MVP, and Derby Mahez with the home runs for us today in our 5-4 loss. Taking a look at the box score, they hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the first to take a lead on us. We traded runs in the 4th. They added another in the 6th, traded runs in the 8th. Did get 2 in the top of the 9th to close the gap from 5-2 to 5-4, but only 5 hits for our Rockies today. So not the greatest offensive performance that we have ever had by any stretch of the imagination. Bell, not great. 7 hits and a walk, allowed 4 earned runs over 5 1/3. Pacheco was good. We did get to Hitchens in that 9th inning, but ultimately they got what they needed, and we'll be heading to game number 4 in Miami. The hope is certainly to finish things up right now, not to have to go all the way back across the country while still facing a 5th game in the series. Obviously, regardless of whether we win or lose tomorrow, we will be flying back across the country, either to prepare for the Marlins in game number 5 or hopefully just prepare for whoever we're going to be facing in the National League Championship Series, which looks like it will be the Cubs if we are able to get there. A matchup of a couple of young former and current Rockies today. Gregorio Olvera, who was part of the package that we traded to the Marlins for our catcher Lee, on the mound, 10-7 with a 3.54 ERA, a 2 WAR this year. Olvera is a guy who had a nice run with us, parts of 3 seasons in the majors for us, and he was 16-5 with a 3.18 ERA and a 3.7 WAR for us over parts of 3 seasons with us. Good, solid right-handed starter, but we decided we were willing to include him in the trade to bring Lee on board. Part of the reason we included Olvera is that we preferred Bernie Barrera, a little bit younger, durable, and we think a little bit better pitcher. 13-8 this year with a 3.93 ERA, 3.7 WAR on the season. Another solid pitching matchup, although clearly these guys are the 4th starters for their respective teams in this series. Hopefully we can get the W today. And we do get a 9-4 win to take the series. Olvera with the loss. Reliever Josh Joss with the victory. We got a home run from Ted Miller. They got a homer again from Johnny Cone. The rookie Johnny Castillo, who tied for the National League lead in home runs, did not hit a home run in this series, but he did win the NLCS Most Valuable Player Award. Taking a look at the box score, we jumped on them with 6 runs in the top of the 3rd. RBI single from Lee, and then a 2-run triple from Castillo. followed by a 2-run homer by Miller, 2-run double by Stone in the 8th, extended our lead to 9-1. They did come back with 3 in the bottom of the 8th, but never got closer than that. So when all is said and done, we are headed back to the National League Championship Series. Barrera only went 4 2/3 innings, was good, 2 hits, 1 earned run, although he did walk 5 batters and allow a solo home run. So seems like he was flirting with disaster there with those 5 walks. Don't like this here. Kevin Roberts Jr. injured while running the bases, a pending back injury for our cleanup hitter. That could be a potentially significant issue for us. Hopefully that won't become anything too significant. Rough outing for Olvera to finish up his season. 5 hits, 2 walks, and 5 earned runs over just 2 2/3 innings pitched. Fortunately, good news on the injury front with Kevin Roberts Jr. as we prepare for the NLCS against the Cubs. Back tightness, not serious, and he should be back to full strength immediately. So perhaps walking a bit of a tightrope there, worrying about his health, certainly would be a huge blow to our roster if we were to lose him. And as we start getting ready for the NLCS in 2 days, good news, Jeff Colson, the young 23-year-old former first-round pick, is healthy again, 3-1 with a 3.71 ERA for us this year, but he was basically overall a replacement level pitcher. Good to know that he's around if we have some pitching injuries and need some depth, but don't necessarily think that we're going to swap him out with any of the pitchers who are currently on the roster at this point. And as it turned out, all of the favorites ended up winning. The 4 teams with byes, arguably the best 4 teams in baseball, all won the divisional series. Like us, it took the Chicago White Sox 4 games to get past the Kansas City Royals and get back to the ALCS. They'll be facing off against the A's, who swept the Orioles. And we obviously will be facing off against the Cubs, who swept the Dodgers out of the playoffs. The Cubs were your National League Central winners this year. We were 4-2 against them in the regular season. They were 5th in the league in runs scored, 6th in runs against. So another pretty solid team that we'll be going up against here. We've got our ace, the righty Leo Martinez, back on the mound. The Cubs will have the right-hander Enrique Soto on the mound. Soto 10-12 this year with a 3.77 ERA, WAR of close to 4, allowed only 13 home runs over 193 1/3 innings. Does a good job keeping the ball in the park, keeps the ball down, generates a lot of grounders, so should be a good pitching matchup here in game number 1. Mentioned at the start of the episode that we faced off against the White Sox in 4 consecutive World Series at this point. We are now trying to dispatch the Cubs to potentially avoid a White Sox and Cubs World Series, which I'm sure fans in the Windy City would be very excited about. Game number 1 with our ace on the mound, and we did get the win 11-3, but a big injury. Mike Castro, who along with the aforementioned Johnny Castillo, are very possibly going to be 1-2 in the Rookie of the Year voting this year. Fractured wrist, out for 5 weeks. That is a big hit. Castro has been our leadoff hitter most of this season, so assuming he took a pitch off the hand, we'll see when we get into the box score. We scored 2 in the second. Pena with a run-scoring single, and then an RBI double from Pack. Teams traded runs in the third, and then we blew things open in the bottom of the 5th. Kevin Roberts Jr. with a 3-run home run, the big blast there. Added 3 more in the 7th. 2-run double by Pack, who had a nice game for us there. So an 11-3 victory, very positive for us. But Castro, as we talked about, has his season come to an early end. Dingwell pinch ran for him in the second, so had one at bat and obviously a second at bat in the second. So my hunch is he probably did get hit by a pitch there, and that's unfortunate if that's the way his season is going to come to an end. Martinez, another very good outing, 5 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, allowed 2 runs over 7 innings. David Guadron allowed 1 run over the final 2 innings, did walk 3, so made things interesting, but fortunately we had a big lead. Soto suffered a mild abdominal strain, threw just 12 pitches before he got yanked. Coleman Crow had to come in relief, so they ended up using 4 relievers today, all of whom allowed runs, some of whom who got completely shelled. Soto injured while pitching, as expected. Castro injured by being hit by a pitch, and Oscar Perez also was injured while pitching. He threw just 2 pitches there. So I guess the positive thing for us is that they had to use a lot of pitchers in game number 1, and they're also dealing with some injury issues. But Mike Castro's season comes to an end with that fractured wrist. Mentioned that our young second baseman, Mr. Castillo, led the league in home runs, and typically you'd expect a player to do that to have a very good chance of winning Rookie of the Year, which he does. But Castro had a monster season for us as well, leading the league in at-bats, runs, and hits. 47 doubles, 5 triples, 14 homers, stole 38 bases, 293 batting average, 377 on-base percentage, all added up to a 124 WRC plus and a 4.7 WAR. That leadoff position is one that we have really struggled with over the course of this playthrough in many seasons. Having a guy with an on-base percentage of close to 380, 38 steals, the ability to generate a ton of extra base hits, obviously worked out for us well this year with him leading the league in at-bats, runs, and hits. So certainly going to leave a gap in the lineup now that Mr. Castro's season is unfortunately ended. And with that injury to Mr. Castro, we'll move J.D. Lee up from the 2-hole to be our number 1 leadoff hitter against righties. Johnny Castillo jumps up to the number 2 spot from number 6. And Chris Roy, going to get some playing time, was only briefly up with us this year, but he was very effective, hitting .533 in 15 at-bats. The 27-year-old, not necessarily a huge part of our future with the strength that we have in the outfield, but Lil D is going to get the opportunity to play against right-handed pitchers for us. Against left-handed pitching, moved Phil Dingwell up to the 3-hole, which is where Castro was hitting against lefties for us. And Ted Miller, our designated hitter against right-handed pitching, going to get the opportunity to be our DH against lefties, going to go with the veteran bat there. The addition we're making to the roster is a name that we may have never talked about before. Jarrett Woods happens to be his 26th birthday today, so a bonus for him getting to not just get added to the NLCS roster, but to also make his major league debut. The switch hitter was an 11th round draft pick back in 2030. He's been in AAA Albuquerque these last couple years, was basically a league average offensive player there this year. We don't have a great amount of depth, unfortunately, at this point on the 40-man roster. He at least gives us some defensive versatility in the infield, and he also is a switch hitter for our manager to potentially use in a critical situation at some point, although in a perfect world, hopefully Woods won't be getting too many at-bats in this series. And getting ready for game number 2, a couple of pitchers who were outstanding in the one game that they each pitched in the National League Divisional Series matchups. We've got the lefty Bob Russell back on the mound. The righty Ben Dombrowski, 27-year-old for the Cubs, on the mound. 15-6 with a 3.41 earned run average this year. Did allow 24 home runs, had a 2.7 WAR. Hopefully maybe we'll have an opportunity to take him out of the ballpark a couple times here as we try to go up 2-0 in this series. And unfortunately, not going to happen for us. We lose 6-3. Did get a home run from Lee, but they got a couple of dingers from their catcher, Danny Everhart. Angel Chivili with the win, Russell with the loss, and Miguel Agront with the save. Taking a look at the box score, they scored a couple in the second. We bounced back with one in the bottom of the inning, but they added a run in the fifth, two in the top of the sixth, and then one in the seventh on their way to a 6-1 lead. The 2-run home run by Lee closed the gap to 6-3 for us, but that was as close as our Rockies could get. Russell, 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 earned runs over 5 1/3, takes the L. Kawakami with a rough relief outing as well, allowed 4 hits and 2 earned runs over just an inning and 2/3. Dombrowski pitched not quite enough to get the win, needed to get one more out through 89 pitches. So Chivili came in and got the W. Agront with the save, as we said. And we're heading to Chicago, tied 1-1 in this National League Championship Series. And as we get ready for game number 3 in our series, both of the championship series tied 1 game apiece heading into game 3. We've got the righty Aaron Bell on the mound for the Cubs, 28-year-old righty Xavier Gilmore. Solid major league pitcher, 9-10 with a 4.04 earned run average this year. Did give up 24 home runs, and he did positively lead the league with just a 249 BABIP against him, only a 1.2 WAR on the season for him. So this feels like a game that our Rockies probably are going to need to win if we're going to return to the Fall Classic. And we did get the win 4-2, went to the bullpen, 12-inning game. Chris Kennedy with the win in relief, the loss for Dwayne Anderson. PCA still in the league in 2037 at the age of 35, only 10 home runs in the regular season for the Cubs this year, but he did get a home run in the NLCS. We got a homer from the catcher Lee, and Roy, who is in the lineup because of that injury to Castro, also hit a home run for us. We scored a run in the third on a bases-loaded walk to Kevin Roberts Jr. They bounced back with 2 in the fifth. That's when PCA hit his 2-run home run. Got a run in the sixth to tie things up on the homer by Roy. And then it was scoreless for both teams until the top of the 12th, when Lee hit that 2-run home run to give us our margin of victory. Only 6 hits for our Rockies over the 12 innings, so the offense certainly not incredible. But the main thing is that we did get the victory. Bell, 3 hits, 2 earned runs over 4 2/3, but Guadrone, Gibson, Valaire, and Kennedy combined after that for 7 1/3 innings of scoreless ball. Gilmore with a nice start for them, but we did get, as we talked about, to Dwayne Anderson, who was pitching his 3rd inning in the 12th in the top of the 12th. And at the very least, our Rockies have guaranteed that there will be at least one more game in Colorado this year. Certainly would love to take at least one more here while we are in Chicago, though. Getting ready for game number 4 of this National League Championship Series, we've got the righty Bernie Barrera on the mound. A lot of alliteration among the pitchers with Bob Bautista on the mound for the Cubs. 27-year-old right-hander, started only one game this year, 2-1 record with a 3.31 ERA. Don't know if they're going to be using him as a opener or something. He was claimed on waivers from San Francisco about a year and a half ago. So certainly would think that although Bautista looks like a good, solid major league pitcher, that this matchup today may favor us as we try to take a 3-1 lead in the series. And we do get there, a 3-1 lead. Another game that went into the bullpen. Joss with the win in relief. Civili takes the loss. Home run from Johnny Castillo, his second of the series. Taking a look at the box score, we scored in the top of the first. They bounced back with 3 in the bottom. We had runs in the 5th and the 6th to tie things up at 3. They immediately took the lead in the bottom of the 6th, 2-run single by House to give them a 5-3 lead. We jumped right back with 2 in the 7th, RBI single by Castillo, a big blow there to tie things up at 5. And then once again went into extra innings, and the 12th inning was pretty crazy. We scored 4 in the top of the 12th to take a 9-5 lead. They scored 2 in the bottom of the inning. Big blows for us. Woods, a double, and then an RBI single from Kaysen. So Woods, not sure, haven't paid close enough attention to know whether that was his first professional major league at-bat or not, but came through with the double there, and he ultimately came around to score a run. And our Rockies, now with a 3-1 lead in the series, appear to be pretty well positioned to hopefully get back to the World Series. Barrera, not a great outing. 5 hits, a walk, and 4 runs, all earned over 5 1/3. Bautista was not great either. 7 hits, 2 walks, 4 runs, 3 of them earned over 6 innings. Civili with the real rough outing there. Kawakami gave up the couple of runs for us there in the bottom of the inning, but still did enough to secure the victory for us. Anthony Pack Jr. was our player of the game, had a couple of steals and a caught stealing, and he was 3 for 5 with a run scored and a couple of ribbies, so a lot of action for our former Gold Glove winning center fielder. Heading now to game number 5. We're also continuing to aggressively scout the recently introduced class of international amateurs, which is something we've been spending a little of time looking at offline and between games. But we will jump right now to game number 5. The hope for us is to lock things up right now. A rematch of game number 1. The righty Martinez on the mound for us against the righty Enrique Soto. And our Rockies are headed back to another World Series. J.D. Lee, your series MVP, home runs from Pack Jr. and Woods today, so he continues to get more playing time than perhaps we would have expected. Home run for center fielder Alan Snipes for the Cubs in the losing effort. Apologies, as you can hear, I'm for some reason losing my voice throughout this episode. Kawakami with the win in relief. Dwayne Anderson, second loss of the series for him. And Adonis Valera, I believe that might be his first save of the playoffs for our closer. And taking a look at the box score from game number 5, the Cubs scored in the bottom of the 1st, the bottom of the 4th, and then we traded runs in the 5th, so they had a 3-1 lead heading into the 7th inning. But then we scored 6 runs between the 7th and the 8th, the big blow in the top of the 7th. Pinch hit home run from the youngster Jarrett Woods, pinch hitting for Derby Mahez, the veteran infielder, and a pinch hit 3-run home run, certainly huge. Pack Jr. added a solo shot after that, 2 insurance runs in the 8th, and our Rockies with a 7-4 victory are on to another World Series. Martinez, 6 hits and 4 walks, which is definitely unlike him. Allowed 3 earned runs over 5 innings, so certainly his worst performance of the playoffs thus far in his 3rd start of the postseason. Kawakami with the win and Valer with the save, as we talked about. Johnny Castillo tied the NL playoff record for strikeouts, struck out 5 times in this game. Castillo 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. So a rough outing for the young second baseman. But what really matters is that we are headed back to the World Series, and we are now 4 wins away from a 5th consecutive championship. The question is whether we'll be facing off against the White Sox for a 5th straight year, or can the A's rally from their 2-1 deficit to end up being the team to represent the American League in the World Series. And although we will be back in the World Series for a 5th straight year as we look for one for the thumb and to tie the Yankees with 5 consecutive World Series titles, for the first time, we won't be going up against the Chicago White Sox. The Las Vegas A's bounced back from that 2-1 deficit to take the next 3 games of the series, and in a World Series that is just as ridiculous as the Colorado and Chicago White Sox World Series we've had for 4 years in a row. Colorado will be going up against the Las Vegas A's here in the 2037 Fall Classic, so a rough late October for the city of Chicago. And although it is weird not to be facing the White Sox in the World Series, it does look like this could be a really good one. The A's with 94 wins, second most in the American League. They were 2-1 against us this year. I believe we had a series with them towards the end of the season, so they had our number in the admittedly small sample size of the 3 games that we played. Second in the league in runs scored and second in the league in runs against. So the A's are a legitimate contender for us to be facing off against. We're going to pitch Leo Martinez in game number 1. Our manager wanted to pitch Bob Russell, but it's been 5 days since Martinez pitched, although he did go 102 pitches last time out. He's back on his normal rest. No point in being excessively conservative with him. We want to ensure that we've got our best pitcher on the mound, and if we end up going into a game number 7 for some reason, maybe we have a opportunity to use him there. So we've got our guy on the mound in Martinez. The A's with Brian Norton, 27-year-old right-hander, was 15-7, 3.61 ERA this year and a 4.6 WAR. So a very nice season for Brian Norton of the Athletics. We'll see if we can take advantage of home field and get this series off to a 1-0 start. And a brilliant pitching performance. It looks like a 1-0 game to take that 1-0 lead. Definitely not going to second guess starting Martinez rather than letting both him and Russell go with a little extra rest after that performance. The only run scored, obviously a solo home run by Johnny Castillo. Adonis Valer came on for the save. Each team had 6 hits. Bottom of the 3rd is when we got the solo home run from Castillo. And Martinez in the bullpen certainly made that hold up. A couple of hits today from Ryan Stone. Looking at Kevin Roberts Jr., 0 for 4 today. He's hitting just 200 with the playoffs. 1 home run and 5 ribbies, so he certainly hasn't been as productive as we've gotten used to. Would think at this point he should have any rust associated with that injury shaken off. Great performance from Martinez, 3 hits, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts over 6 1/3 innings. Obviously didn't allow a run. Justin Gibson with the hold, Adonis Valer with the save. Norton, a really nice outing, 4 hits, a walk, and 6 strikeouts over 6 innings. But our young Rookie of the Year candidate, Johnny Castillo, with the big blow, his only hit of the day, and the pitching staff made it stand up as our Rockies take a 1-0 lead on the A's here in this World Series. Getting ready for game number 2, and the hope certainly before we head to Las Vegas for the next 3 games is that we get another win here today. We've got the lefty Bob Russell on the mound. The A's with an outstanding young lefty, Bill Earl, 25-year-old, a former 7th-round pick who looks like they have really hit on him. 11-7 record with a 2.76 ERA, struck out 222 batters this year, allowed just 13 home runs, led the American League with a 62 FIP minus, and put up a 6.2 WAR. Was named to an All-Star team for the first time. So a couple of excellent southpaws on the mound here in game number 2 of the 2037 World Series. And another good pitching performance from our Rockies on the way to a 5-1 victory. Kevin Roberts Jr., after we were just talking about his relatively uneventful playoffs with a home run, Trent Kaysen, who was last year's World Series MVP, hits a dinger as well. Russell with the win, Earl with the loss, 5-1 victory. 3 runs scored in the bottom of the second, solo homer from Kaysen and a 2-run double by DePaula. Teams traded runs in the 4th. Presumably the run in the 5th was a solo home run by Mr. Roberts Jr. 5-1 victory, allowed just 5 hits on the day. Russell with an outstanding outing, only allowed 5 hits and no walks over 7 1/3 innings while striking out 9. Chris Kennedy came on to get the final 5 outs, allowed just 1 walk. Rough outing for Earl, 8 hits, 2 walks, and 5 runs all earned over 4 1/3 innings. He gave up both of the home runs. So our Colorado Rockies are now 2 wins away from a 5th consecutive World Series title. And getting ready for game number 3 now in Las Vegas, we've got the righty Aaron Bell on the mound for the A's. Right-hander, 29-year-old Mario Aguilar, also known as JBJ. Pretty good stuff. 4-6 record with a 2.65 earned run average. It's basically a little less than a 5-inning starter for the A's with that 45 stamina. So not involved in many decisions at all, despite starting 34 games for Las Vegas this year. 4.1 WAR on the season, so he was outstanding. You can see a WHIP of 1.09. Did walk a decent number of batters, but allowed just 121 hits in 166 2/3 innings. So good pitching matchup here today. Aguilar was an all-star back in 2033. We'll see if we can put ourselves on the brink of a title here in game number 3. Clearly the goal is to ensure we win at least one of these next 3 potential games in Las Vegas, ensure that we go home with a lead in a worst-case scenario. And we do lose our first game of the series 6-2, so the A's bats, which had been held down over the first 18 innings of the series, did some things today. 3 home runs for the A's from Krebs, Valdivia, and Fernandez. Roberts Jr. with a homer for the 2nd straight day. Dingwell with a dinger as well. Tom Bunch, the reliever, with the win. Bell took the loss for us. Taking a look at the box score, the A's scored early and often, runs in all 4 of the first frames, 5 of the first 6 innings to take a 6-0 lead on us. We did come back with 2 in the top of the 9th, but far too little too late at that point. Bell, rough outing, allowed 7 hits and 5 runs, all earned over 3 1/3 innings. Aguilar only threw 11 pitches, injured while pitching, We also lost Kawakami while pitching, so that's certainly not optimal. Bunch with a nice relief outing has an emergency situation coming in after just 11 pitches, allowed just 3 hits while striking out 3 over the 4 innings of work that he did. So we'll see what happens with Kawakami. If it's something significant, maybe that will be Jeff Colson's opportunity to potentially contribute to the cause this year. And as we get ready for game number 4, Kawakami still injured with a diagnosis pending, elbow injury. He's fragile now physically. Not sure if we can add him on the IL without a diagnosis, but if we can, I think we're going to do that. Yeah, we're going to place him on the playoff IL. Would rather have another arm available here for game number 4. So Kawakami's season comes to an end, and Jeff Colson, the youngster who was injured at the start of the playoffs, going to get an opportunity to hopefully now contribute as a rookie to a potential World Series title. And a big game here in game number 4 where we can potentially put a stranglehold on the series by taking a 3-1 lead. The Las Vegas A's obviously hoping to get things knotted up at 2. We sit here on Sunday, November 1st, 2037 in fantasy time, and there won't be a World Series resolve today, but as I said, we hope to take a 3-1 lead. As I'm taping this episode, or recording it more accurately, it's November 1st, 2025, and we will, of course, have a World Series champion crowned later on today, unless the game goes well into extra innings and perhaps makes it the 2nd of November that the Dodgers or the Blue Jays win the title. We've got our righty, Bernie Barrera, on the mound. For the A's, right-hander Vance Kimball only started 3 games for them this year. 1-1 record with 3 saves. Was pretty effective. 2.58 ERA over 73 1/3 innings pitched. Whip below 1, almost 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. But with only 40 stamina, assume that they're using him a bit as a opener, and would think that we'll see some bullpen action from the A's. Hopefully Barrera gives us a solid start. As I mentioned, our big goal when we went to Vegas up 2-0 was to win at least 1 game there and ensure that worst case scenario was we'd have a lead heading back to Colorado, and a win here today will certainly secure that at a minimum for us. And we do get a 7-2 win in Colson, who made his debut, was a very active debut. He got the win after he was an injury replacement for Kawakami, and apparently he hurt himself, but he got the win. Pearson took the loss. Homer from Elian Pena. Taking a look at the box score, the A's with 2 in the top of the first took the lead. We bounced back with 2 in the top of the fourth. That's when Pena hit his 2-run home run to tie things up. RBI single from Castillo in the 7th. Dervy Mahez a 3-run double in the top of the 8th. The big blow there on the way to the 7-2 victory. Pena with a great day, 3 for 3, 3 runs scored, a couple of ribbies. Mahez obviously drove in 3 runs with the 3-run home run. Couple of hits from Castillo as well to take that 3-1 lead. Bernie Barrera, very eventful outing. 3 hits, 1 walk, 2 earned runs over 4 2/3 innings. Didn't get through 5 innings because he threw 92 pitches, largely due to the 10 strikeouts he threw. Required some deep counts likely to get there, so not eligible for the win. Colson, as I mentioned, right off the injured list, allowed 1 hit while striking out 1, pitching an inning and 2/3 for us. Gibson with a hold, and Wellington Herrera finishes things up for us. Colson, pending shoulder injury. Hopefully nothing too significant. We'll sim forward to tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe we'll do the same move that we had to do with Kawakami and just immediately place Colson on the pitching IL to bring up another body, or the playoff IL. There's not really a special IL for pitchers. And still waiting to hear what's going to happen with Colson, but clearly a major issue for Kawakami, a stretched elbow ligament that's going to keep him out for 13 months. So he is going to miss all of next year. The 24-year-old finally got to make his major league debut this year. He's had some injury issues over the years, but the scouting discovery from 8 years ago has had a solid introduction to the majors this year with a 3.83 ERA over 44 and 2/3 innings. Unfortunately, he's going to almost certainly miss all of next season. Colson, pending shoulder injury, so that doesn't sound great either. I think we'll wait. We won't make a move today. If we find out that there's a real serious issue today or after the game or tomorrow or before the game on Wednesday, if necessary, we could make another move to bring another pitcher up. But we didn't tax the pen all that much yesterday, so think that we're probably okay being pitcher down here for game number 5. Again, my hunch is if it's a shoulder injury, it's not going to be a minor thing and his season is probably over. But we'll wait and find out. Game number 5, we've got our ace on the mound. Recall that was that outstanding 1-0 pitching duel in game number 1. Martinez and Norton back on the mound too. Martinez, as he tends to be, has been outstanding in the playoffs for us, 3-0 with a 1.75 ERA, and would certainly be fitting if he's the guy who pitches us to a 5th consecutive World Series championship, because he has been a huge part of this team, obviously. And we do get the win, 3-2. Kevin Roberts Jr. with a home run. He ends up winning yet another postseason Most Valuable Player award. Most importantly, in game number 5 of this World Series, our Rockies win a 5th consecutive World Series, matching the Yankees. Adonis Valera, our closer, with the save in relief. Bill Earl takes the loss. Take a look at the box score. We scored a run in the 1st. They added a run in the 3rd to tie it. We scored a run in the 5th. They added a run in the 6th to tie it. And then in the top of the 11th, solo home run by the man, 5 tools, Kevin Roberts Jr., propels our Colorado Rockies to a 3-2 victory on the way to the World Series title. Roberts Jr., 3 for 5 with a run scored and 2 ribbies today. Did get the average for the playoffs up to 288 and hit a lot of home runs in this World Series. Martinez scattered 8 hits in a walk over 5 1/3 innings, allowed 2 earned runs while striking out 6. Kennedy, Gibson, and Valera, arguably our 3 best relievers combined for the final 5 2/3 innings, allowing just 1 hit, 1 walk, and no earned runs. Norton was fine, 5 hits, a walk, and 6 strikeouts, 2 earned runs over 5 1/3 innings. So line that looks very similar to what Martinez put up. Actually allowed fewer hits than Martinez, so a good performance from him. But the loss saddled on Bill Earl, but certainly not the first player who's ever given up a postseason home run to Kevin Roberts Jr. Johnny Castillo injured in a collision at base, day-to-day with a sprained knee, so that is not too serious. Still waiting to find out what happens with Colson. Certainly the potential to lose Colson on top of Kawakami in a matter of about 24 hours of action is not optimal. But we've got the World Series won, and that was our primary goal here in 2037. So another year, another World Series in the books for our Colorado Rockies. The offseason begins today. We will do our annual roster review next episode. We'll take a look at some of our top prospects and some of the top prospects around the league and our former players the episode after that. But before we finish things off, check in on some important news. And I don't think we've heard what's going on with our pitcher yet, Mr. Colson, which probably isn't a good sign that it's taking this long for the diagnosis from him. Development facilities open as always, arbitration period beginning. Continue to scout some of the international amateur free agents. Have some personnel leaving and retiring this year, so we'll be looking for some more minor league help. Going to need to make an option year decision on Wellington Herrera, $5 million team option next year for the veteran lefty who was a longtime closer for us. Review of our season goals. Happy that we won a title. Still angry we didn't extend Ezequiel Tovar, but pleased that we added Elian Pena to the roster. Still wants more improvement in road games. 6 World Series in the last 7. Happy with our performance in establishing goals. Overall delighted with what we've done with the team. Need to win another championship next year. Wants us to sign Bob Russell, improve our record in road games, and I guess build another dynasty. Taking a look at our budget for next year, $268 million. I believe that's flat with where we were this past season, but I could be wrong. Yeah, we were at $268 million this past year, so no change to our budget. Potentially have a little bit of financial flexibility, which hopefully we'll be able to improve if we need with some decision making as we head towards the beginning of the free agent period in a few weeks. Taking a look at Mr. Colson. Still a pending shoulder injury, so it's been 3 days now since he suffered that injury, and it's still not diagnosed. My hunch is it might be relatively significant. Not the worst time for an injury to happen right before the off-season begins, but certainly would hope that we don't end up losing Colson for all of next year, as we've already lost Kawakami. Those two guys are young pitchers that we thought could certainly be competing for roles on the roster next year, and in the case of Colson, potentially competing for a 5th starter role. He did pitch and start 7 games for us this year before he moved to the pen when we got a little healthier, and David Guadron came back from his injury. But it's ultimately another good season for our Colorado Rockies. Another title for the team. Didn't do it against the White Sox this year, but again, 5 consecutive World Series that have involved only the Rockies, the White Sox, and the A's. If you were to place a futures wager on that today for the 2033 to 2037 seasons, you probably could be a very wealthy person in about 12 years, but don't think there's a high probability of that actually happening. And with that, we'll call it an episode. We'll also call it a season. Next time around, as I noted, we'll do our annual roster review and start planning for some decisions as we try to keep this Colorado Rockies team on top. Until our next episode, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.